The Epstein files are not showing everything. There are things far worse than these.
How's it going, everybody, man? I hope y'all having a wonderful, blessed day. We got some more videos to share with y'all about the Epstein stuff. This time it is victims of Epstein and a neighbor and some others that are being interviewed about him. Man, y'all enjoy the content, but y'all please don't forget to subscribe, like, and share. I appreciate y'all. And understand that if y'all subscribe, y'all helping me out tremendously. I put out a lot of videos in a short amount of time, but not many people have been able to see it. Not many people are subscribing, or they not sharing this content, or it's just YouTube trying to keep this content from being shared. For whatever it is, though, y'all please don't forget to subscribe and know that I appreciate y'all. Have a wonderful, blessed every day. This is for entertainment purposes. Enjoy the video. Shalom.
Have you been living in the neighborhood for a long time?
Yeah.
And did you ever see any really rich and powerful people go inside this building?
You want to know who I saw going in there? Everyone you've heard about.
Really?
Yeah.
Can you name any names?
Yeah, you know them all from the newspaper.
Did you see Bill Clinton going there?
Who?
Bill Clinton?
Yep.
Bill Gates?
No.
Trump?
Yep. I think of the other ones. Andrew.
Prince Andrew. You saw Prince Andrew going there. And what do you think actually happened inside of this home?
All the most terrible things you can think of both.
And what do you think the truth is about the Epstein files?
Well, someone has them. Yeah. Maxwell probably would be the best source, but she'll stay put.
Would you support Donald Trump if he were to give her a pardon to let her spill all the information?
No. Because that means she's out of jail. She was definitely his partner. I believe that.
And so you've seen people like Prince Andrew, Trump, the Clintons, a lot of other people walk inside this building.
Yeah, well, you knew it. They all come with security guards who park here or stand out here, so you can't miss it. And I saw plenty over the years. This is a long time ago now. Before we knew what was going on, just young girls. I mean, young.
How old
Teenagers.
were the girls that you saw go in?
Well, because they were coming from schools. They were coming from public schools.
Really?
So they were high school age.
Wow, so you saw a bunch of high schoolers going inside
You
here.
could tell. I always come this way home, and you'd cross the street, and maybe on the far corner would be two girls. Now, don't get nervous. It's going to be all right. He's really a nice man. You know, he promised people that didn't know people like this exist in a gorgeous house like this. They didn't know he was going to abuse them. He said, "Oh, you're so beautiful. You know, when you get out of high school, I'm going to get you a modeling job. I'm going to set you up." And he promised them all kinds of things, and they unfortunately believed him.
I am Jeff Epstein's niece. My father and stepmother had a baby girl in 1991 who was raised by another family. In 1998, they assigned me her birth date on my birth certificate, which they waited 10 years to file, claiming my stepmother was my biological mother, and finally put me in school in the gifted program. My parents were upstanding citizens. My father was a divorce attorney. It goes back for generations. I remember my father confessing that my oldest brother is 8 years younger than him. They told me that we belonged to the cult of Baal. My great-grandfather, according to my father, was Walt Disney. Before he moved to the United States, his name was Artur Bick, and his twin sister, who he had children with, who I am descended from, was named Minnie. That's where we get Mickey and Minnie Mouse. It's very cute, right? Except for when you consider the abuse that I suspect is still happening to children who go into the entertainment industry.
Did you travel to Mar-a-Lago?
Yes, I did.
And how did you arrive at Mar-a-Lago? How did you end up going to Mar-a-Lago? Did he send you there? Were you told to go there? How did that happen?
There were a lot of model parties at the Mar-a-Lago. Different people would set them up, different magazines, and a limo would come and you'd jump in the limo and you'd go.
and Jeffrey Epstein or someone who worked for him would tell you to go there?
No. It was just a place where something was held, a party was held, and people would go to different events.
This is about so much more than one person, Jeffrey Epstein or Ghislaine Maxwell or Donald Trump. But because Donald Trump is a person who, of course, owns Mar-a-Lago, I just have to ask if you think he was aware of that arrangement.
I don't know if he was aware. Actually, I can't answer that. I'm sorry.
You were in your teens. You were in your teens, yeah. and I think this is important for people to understand that people were in their teens and were young, and you were a young model, mm-hmm. and you were handled by a predator.
My name is Anya, or Anna Wick, formerly Anna Petrova, formerly Owen Theodore Epstein, born Anya Beth Epstein on June 4th, 1988 in Boulder, Colorado, with my twin brother, Shia LaBeouf, to our father, Stephen Bruce Epstein, and our mother, Shayna Sadie LaBeouf, who separated us, forging our birth certificates as part of a ritualized, highly organized, generationally planned child trafficking cult that initiates 3-year-olds and deifies incest and inbreeding. I have not been in danger, just been incredibly anxious. However, the world deserves for the truth to belong to the public. This is for accountability. If for any reason I fail to appear on my interviews this weekend, you are more than welcome and encouraged to upload everything from your accounts. Thank you.
It's kind of weird. They let us go, but we were able to leave for the day.
Mm-hmm. So tell me what the island was like itself and what the process even was to get you guys there.
Okay, so there was a boat that was sent for us. Mm-hmm. So we took the boat across from Tortola to Little St. John's.
Okay.
And so, normal day on the island. It was very beautiful. You know, we played in the water a little bit, in the ocean. There was like a trampoline in the ocean.
Oh,
and
nice.
then, it was really cool. And then we went to the pool area, and there was like an older man there with some younger girls. I noticed they were all blonde. And the girl who brought me also was blonde. And we just, hung out and had a good time. Then we went to dinner, and we all sat at a table, and we had some really delicious food and enjoyed the evening. And that was the moment where I met Jeffrey Epstein.
So at this point, nothing seemed suspicious. It was just like, we're girls living our best lives. How cool. So at what point did that setting change for you?
Well, I mean, with older men and younger girls, this is something you see a lot in the modeling industry. It was prevalent back then. So, I mean, it's always like, it's kind of odd, but I didn't think anything of it. I certainly didn't think I was in any danger or anything. I was just enjoying the time away from, work. And so everything was fine the entire day up until the evening time. And then I went into like the quarters area where we were going to stay that night because they couldn't send us back to the other island until the morning.
Okay.
And so I was just hanging out with the other girl, just like on the bed and just talking and stuff. And that's when someone knocked on the door, and it was one of the other young girls from the
pool.
Yeah.
Okay.
And from dinner, and she just said, "Jeffrey's ready for your massage." And so at that point, that was the first I had heard of a massage. I didn't know anything about this man that I met, except for that he was very charming and very nice, and he paid a lot of attention to me at dinner and asked me a lot of questions. And
what kind of questions did he ask you?
Well, he was really good at getting kind of into my psyche, like where are you from, and what's your family life like, and what's your relationship with your father, your siblings, and what are your dreams and aspirations, and all these questions that most men don't ask you. So you know, most men talk about themselves most of the time, but this one was like honed in on like, who are you? And I want to know more about you, and you're so interesting. And
so you're feeling special.
Yeah, it was super, special to have this, you know, older, interesting, definitely smart, you know, man, interested. But it was more like a mentor kind of thing.
Okay.
You know, it wasn't like a playboy or, you know, those type of vibes. And as a child, I had grown up in Oxford, England.
Right.
And he found that really interesting.
Okay.
And then, you know, I just felt really comfortable with him. I didn't really think that much of it. So now we're in the bedroom, and I was told that I have to do this massage. And I said to the other girl, like, what's going on? And she was like, oh, well, you know, Jeffrey kind of likes these massages. You just have to do it. And I just, you know, I went back and forth with her a little bit on that, but I ended up, you know, just agreeing and just going with her. And I left that room and walked over to his room.
Okay.
And we opened the door, we walked in, and he was naked on a massage table and, you know, face down. And
what did you think at that moment when you walk into this room and you see him naked on the massage table? Like, what goes through your mind?
it was just like,
Yeah.
like, what are we doing here?
Yeah.
You know, it was just, everything was really odd, but I didn't feel in any danger. I just thought, okay, maybe I have to do this creepy massage. Like, it hadn't shifted yet.
Okay.
So it was an actual massage.
Okay.
And, you know, with real massage techniques. So it did start off as a massage.
Okay.
And then things shifted. And he went a little dark with the way that he was speaking to me and her, and asked weird questions, you know, like, do you have a boyfriend? And, you know,
While you're
are you
doing the
having
massage?
Yes, like weird stuff, you know. And I was at my early 20s. I wasn't a teenager, you know, but I was in my early 20s, you know, off the plane from Belgium. Like, I wasn't really aware of these types of things, but I mean, long story short, he abused me and the other girl that evening. And, you know, I just kind of ran out of there with her and went back to that room and kind of just looked at the ceiling all night and was just like, what the f is going on? Like, what's happening? And she didn't really have that many answers for me. I feel like.
Had she been there before, like through this?
Well,
before
I didn't know at the
of?
time. She was maybe 22, like she was young too, and I mean, as we know now who Jeffrey is, this is kind of what he did.
Right.
But back then, I just didn't really understand what was going on. I never blamed her. I just thought that I blamed myself, and like, I'm in this situation, like, why did I come here, and why did I agree to that? I just was scared.
Yeah.
And, you know, and I didn't really have anyone to protect me, and
so
it was just odd. It was an odd situation.
When you say like abused, like, do you feel comfortable? Like, what was that exactly? Was it more mental? Was it physical? Was it sexual?
Well, it was physical and sexual.
Okay.
Abuse.
So the other weird thing about that house, which was very disturbing to me, thinking about children going in now that I think about it, because you think about this, when I was going to that house, those little girls they were in diapers, the ones that were raped in Florida. They weren't even born, and they were 3. Like, Virginia was just a few years old when I was going down there. And everything that I told the FBI and that they knew to be factual, they ignored. And then let all those little girls, so that's the part of it that I think has made me sick, you know, like have cancer. Other than Randy Bowie, I think it's that fact that they are not, that the FBI was in on it. And I honestly, after this experience, I think the FBI was created to protect these people.
Well, the
that control
FBI
everyone.
historically
I honestly God,
has always run interference for organized crime. Like J. Edgar Hoover never pursued the mob, and Wexner's tied to that same mob that he was covering up. You know what I mean? So,
oh my God, yes.
Yeah, so it goes way back, pretty much, to the beginning of the FBI. Okay. So yeah,
well,
I
took it personally.
Yeah, that's definitely why.
Yeah.
So
the other thing, I'm jumping around, but while we're on the subject of the FBI, I just want to explain the level of abuse I've endured. So basically, when I told them everything, I was on the phone for 45 minutes with my first report, right after talking to the NYPD. As we're getting off the phone, he says, "Don't tell anybody." Who says that? to someone. And not only that, I had asked, are you going to do anything to protect me or anything? And they said, no, 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 no.
There's not one perpetrator out there who is not victimized as a child. And as long as families keep looking the other way from the perpetrators they love, they are close to, they have loyalty to, they're not just creating more survivors, but more perpetrators. And it doesn't stop. It doesn't help anybody. It might keep the peace momentarily, but you're putting more pain into the world when you turn a blind eye.
In society, this stuff can be really hard for normal people to learn and accept. And the way that the movies have taught us that this happens is there's some random crazy person on the street. They get inspired one day randomly to go kidnap and abduct and abuse somebody. And so they act on that. And then all of a sudden a child is hurt or a young adult is hurt.
No,
and that's not how this happens.
We know that's not how this happens. Virtually everybody I know was molested in some capacity. I think most people talk about maybe it was someone their age playing doctor a little bit too friendly with them when they were kids, someone else who was hurt by someone, and it comes from somewhere. It comes from people, I think, for some reason feeling it's their right to act out in response to the abuse they were put under. It's not like the spirit of Weird Al is inhabiting everybody's uncles. It's not a select few people. It is widespread. I know it's not just within my family, but because my family holds so much power regarding political and entertainment influence, I felt a heavier sense of burden to speak up about it. And of course, I still have cognitive dissonance trying to understand why being a survivor allows people to justify being a perpetrator. Like, I could never.